Welcome back, Metas. With the release of Phase 4, you can enter and complete the Level 60 LEA Research Lab. I think technically the game refers to this as a Level 60 dungeon, but it has more mechanics than your standard silo, and you have a very tough time completing this by yourself. It's much closer to what other games would refer to as a raid. I'm going to talk you through everything from how to access it, to how to complete each encounter, the secret crates, and even where I got the Rebecca Deviation. The chapters for each encounter are in the time bar below and the description, so skip ahead as you need. Okay, how to access. To enter the raid, progress through the campaign until you get the LEA Research Lab. It's located here on the map. If you cannot enter it, it may be due to the server age. Your server has to have unlocked Phase 4, as this is technically classed as the Level 60 dungeon, which unlocked with Phase 4. I'm not too sure what will happen with the new season. I'm assuming it will remain unlocked, but I don't know. This will be very tough solo, so try to find a team, press U, create team, then click on the top right hand corner, select LEA Research Lab Pro, enter any information you want, and select automatically post recruitment. This will place a message in the chat, like this person who's looking for someone to help them with another boss, and people will be able to click on it and join your team. This is how I got my teams. Finally, there are checkpoints for the raid. It takes the checkpoints of the team leader. You can reset the checkpoints if you want to start fresh. The checkpoints allow you to leave the raid to repair equipment, grab more bullets, get more health items, etc., and you can return to the same encounter. Let's quickly talk about preparation. Now is the time to use tungsten bullets. I used about 5,000 rounds with the last Valor, and the SMG user in my team said they used like 10,000 bullets, so you're going to need to make some serious ammo. Be sure to calibrate your armor to increase your health. Repair all of your gear because you likely will need to come back out anyway to at least repair your weapon. I've had to do this every time I've done the raid. I've had to exit and repair gear and go back in. Bring 2 grenades or have someone with unstable bomber for the secret crate section. I'll talk more about that later. You 100% will need to craft some health items. Your gel buddy will not be enough to get you through this. And of course, take a drink buff and a food buff with you, whatever suits your build. Encounter 1, secure polarized deviants. This encounter actually tells you how to complete it in the top left hand corner, but I didn't read it and all the people I was with also didn't read it. There will be 2 securement tubes, 1 orange and 1 blue, fire and ice. Polarized deviants will spawn with colored shields, orange and blue. If you want to secure the blue shielded deviant, you'll have to stand in the circle surrounding the blue securement tube and get the final blow on that deviant while in the circle. It doesn't matter where you break the shield, you just need to make sure whoever gets the final blow is standing in the correct circle. You will know that you've done it correctly because you'll see a little light come out of the deviant and enter the tube, and then the tube will now contain the deviant. Before it was just empty. That container is now complete and you can move on to the next tube. Repeat the same step, making sure to match the securement tube color with the color of the deviant's shield. Encounter 2, defeat Dr. Mannheim. The next encounter is the exact same mechanic but with 5 securement tubes and a boss in the middle and a lot more enemies. Be sure to keep track of which tubes are complete by seeing if they are empty or contain a deviant. Once you complete all 5 tubes, you can start DPS. Be aware the boss has a ground slam, which he does multiple times, sending out a shockwave. This happened around 50% health both times I did the raid, so be aware of this during DPS. If you don't jump or get out the way, this will take you down. Don't do what I did and just stand in the middle of nowhere, because you can't escape it. There are boxes around the room, and I do assume if you climb these boxes, you will avoid the attack. Be aware you only get 3 revives or adrenaline shots throughout the raid, so try to have a single person use their revive and then revive everyone else. You can also use the spotlight dropped by smaller enemies to freeze the boss in the middle. This can be handy because the boss constantly spams range attacks. If your team has enough DPS, you can one phase this boss. In this footage though, we only had 2 people. We actually went in with just 2, not 4. So the boss becomes immune again and you have to repeat the securement tubes. Fill all the tubes in again with deviants and then you can go again for round 2 of DPS. When you get to the final 2 bars of health, a bubble will go around the boss and you'll have to be inside the bubble to do damage. If you run out of DPS phase again, you have to repeat the securement tubes. When we finish this, I also got the Rebecca Deviation drop from this encounter. I'm not sure if this deviation can drop from other encounters, but this is where I got mine. Encounter 3, Clean the Culture Trap. The next encounter is very quick and it's actually just teaching you a mechanic for the final boss. Disciples will spawn, which are these flying deviants. They do a lot of damage, especially the lasers, but their attacks are pretty easy to avoid. Just be sure to be near cover. When you destroy them, they will drop Stardust Crystal, which is like this purple orb. You pick up the orb and you throw it at the spores in the middle. The spores are different colors, orange and blue, but that doesn't matter quite yet. The secret chests. Before reaching the final encounter, there are 2 secret chests. They are behind breakable walls, which are very obvious. As soon as you leave encounter 3, the previous encounter, and jump upwards, there will be one here.
I don't believe so. Let me check my...
You can use explosives or an explosive perk like Unstable Bomber to break it open.
I'm trying. Oh, look at that. It does do that. That's fucking great. I didn't know that. Love them.
The second secret wall is just after the platforming section with the wall traps and just before the big drop into the boss room. There is a mini puzzle in this room. Stand in the circle, shoot the platforms. The platforms will then stay solid for a little bit and you can jump across them. Repeat this until you reach the crate. Encounter 4, the Mother of Life. I would advise to probably leave the raid before you start this encounter, repair your gear, get more bullets, craft anything else you need, and then come back. This phase begins with opening DPS. You don't have to do anything special, you can just start shooting. Then the boss goes immune and you have to combine all the previous 2 mechanics to start DPS. You have to defeat the flying enemies, the disciples, who will then drop the purple orb. You then throw that orb into the spore piles. Depending on the color of the spore pile, orange or blue, that will spawn an orange or blue polarized deviant. So if you have an orange containment tube, you need an orange shield deviant. So take down the flying disciple, pick up the orb, throw it at the orange spore pile, and then an orange shield deviant will spawn, and then make sure you stand on the plate when you defeat him. Repeat this process for the 4 tubes around the room. Once complete, you can begin DPS. The boss will gain an additional attack after some DPS. This mortar strike is super deadly. It will down you and your team very, very quickly. If the boss is aggroed onto you, you pretty much just need to keep running away. Then the boss will become immune for the final time when she has 2 bars of health left. My first time playing this, we wiped multiple times at this stage because of that mortar strike keeps attacking us and kept downing us, and she keeps doing it, and it's pretty tough. In addition, there are stronger, small enemies always roaming around. To clear it, we had 2 people focusing on clearing the flying deviants and basically just nuking them as soon as they come out of their spawn portal. You really want to stay on top of these guys as their lasers do so much damage. Then we have the other 2 people focusing on clearing the ground enemies. Once we changed this strategy, just sort of dividing into 2 teams of 2 to focus on different enemies, we cleared it straight away. Secure all the tubes again and you'll get your final phase of DPS. Good luck, have fun, and if you find this video helpful, a like and a comment would be greatly appreciated. This is Myelin Games. Peace.